BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Dr. Steve Finn from Dr. Finn's Games. I don't know why I keep saying that. And you've got a game that you've played that I have not gotten to play, and I'm super curious about what you think of it. It's called Foundations of Rome. If I remember right, it's an Emerson Matsuuchi design.
Yeah,
Arcane Wonders. Tell me about it. What's the elevator pitch?
What's the elevator, or what's it about?
What's it about?
It's an interesting game. You are the main thing you're trying to do is build up your buildings. So everybody has a set of different types of buildings. I mean, I played it a couple weeks ago, so hopefully I can remember the main idea of it. You're trying to put different types of buildings out there, and the buildings score sometimes for what they are, but then for what other types of buildings they're next to. And it could be your own, or it could be other people. And the way you get your buildings out there is there's a grid, right? And you could see at the top of the picture here that there's like coordinates
on the
like
top,
F9, C1, D2. Yeah. So what you do is, like a typical game where you could buy a card. The card on the left is the least expensive, and then when you buy one, they slide over. You're basically buying these plots of land. Maybe it's similar a little bit like New York 1901, where you're picking up plots. Yeah, where you're picking up plots of land, but the mechanism for choosing those plots is different. In this case, you're like, for example, I could say I want that C1. I take the C1 card, I put like my little worker on there. And when I get the workers that are in the shape, they're like Tetris shapes of one of my buildings, I can replace my workers with that building. And then I either might score points or gold, or, points and gold, and stuff like that. And it's interesting because you can overbuild. So if I had a shape, for example, like a square, but then the square is the biggest one. But let's say I have a straight piece that's three squares long.
Okay.
If I can get that fourth square next to it, I can then remove my three square building and put down my 4 square building.
That's similar to New York 1901 a little bit too, where you can build to that next level.
Yeah, so this is actually a very simple game. It's just on your turn, you just buy a card, put your worker down, and then if you can, you replace your workers with one of your shapes. And if that's basically that's basically what's happening. But there's enough interesting there's enough interesting decisions in the way the buildings interact with each other to try to squeeze them down. And then also just trying to fight over the space with other people. See, here there's not direct conflict. It's just like grabbing the card before someone else. Like, I really want that card. And then someone else grabs it.
So you're kind of playing on your own board, basically, during the game.
No, you're not playing on your own board at all. You have your own board of pieces that you're taking off and putting on the main board, but we're competing over the main board.
What do you think about the production? The pictures that I've seen make this game look amazing.
I cannot tell you about the production because I played it online.
Oh, you played it online. Okay.
I played this online. Okay. Now, obviously, it looks really nice. The pictures online, there was one thing that slightly annoyed me, was that your own color is not obvious. Like
let me see.
The buildings are the same colors. Like everybody has the same white and gray, because that's a difference between, if I recall, like places which are municipal and then civil, or I can't remember what the second one is. And then on top of those buildings, there's like a little marker that has your color, like a small square. Now, I don't know if in person that's obvious, but, I would have thought with this production, it would have been nice to have like a ring, like where it's your whole color on the outside. That really makes it stand out, or the windows are painted your color. So that's that's a tiny minor thing, but with like the overall production, I would just say, it would have been nice if they did that too. But it's a really cool game. I think it's a great game. It's a massive box with a lot of pieces. And, that's personally, though, that's not my thing. Like, I would really like this game, but I'll never buy a game for more than $50.
Ooh, I just like that. Yeah,
I know. I won't. no matter how much I like a game, I just won't buy it because the way that I play games is I play a lot of new games constantly, and I rarely play the same game. So if I bought that, it would go on my shelf. Maybe I'd play it like 2 or 3 times, and then that would be kind of it. So like to me, when
you'd have been okay with half the production quality and making it a $50 game.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I'd be happy. I would really, if this game was a $50 game and instead of having all of these pieces, just had nice thick tiles like Carcassonne, thick,
Right.
or any number of games that have tiles, but tiles like that would have been fine with me.
You know who did that? In the game High Rise.
Yeah, Gil.
Gil Hova at first had one of the big plastic pieces because of the way it just looked amazing on the table. I saw a lot of pictures.
Right.
It didn't fun, and he came back with putting more Quanchai More art on standees instead. And actually, Draft Mechanic was talking about the other night. They actually love the art on the standees instead. So you got the price point that you would like. You still have the same good gameplay, and you still got great art. So
yeah,
I think this appeals to a certain gamer that does like the beautiful pieces. Hey, I'm one of those. I've upgraded all my New York 1901 legendary buildings. I have them all as the big giant plastic pieces.
Yeah,
just because they look cool on the table. That doesn't add to the gameplay at all. But it's
I'm not. That's not me. But I don't look down on you. There's a lot of people who are very adamant about all the minis and stuff that are on Kickstarter and really hate it. But I just say, obviously, if they're selling millions of dollars and getting millions of dollars, there's people that want it, right?
There is.
There it is.
So that's Foundations Rome. You give it thumbs up, but
no, a big thumbs up.
Big thumbs up.
I'll give it as a game. Big thumbs up on the game. I can't tell you whether it's worth whatever 100 it is for the production quality, but as far as the actual game goes itself, it's a good, solid, gateway game.
Wow, back-to-back games. Thumbs up from me for Lock Up, and a thumbs up from you for what is it called? It's
Foundations of Rome.
Foundations of Rome from Emerson Matsuuchi and Arcane Wonders.